What's going on, everybody? Retro Angel here, bringing you today another deck profile. Today we're here with Jay Carpenter. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good.
What were you on today?
I was playing the new Traptrix.
Nice. How you feel about it?
I like it a lot. The only downside is so far the worst matchup for me has been Traptrix, and there's a lot of people playing it right now.
I mean, yeah, I feel like the banish from sure it would probably hurt too, but it seems really fun to say the least. Without further ado, man, let's just go ahead and dive into it.
So my Traptrix monsters, I actually went kind of hard on the amount of monsters. Surprisingly, I played 2 Dianea, 3 of the new one. She's an extender and really helps out your plays in the end. Realistically, there are some turns where you can only establish a single Traptrix monster, and she helps you get into your Utopia plays or into Rafflesia.
She's a new one too, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
3 Mantis. Mantis is your ideal starter because she adds Dianea from deck to hand, and she'll put herself there when she goes into Sarah. So it immediately gives you a rank 4 on your next turn.
Pretty good follow-up.
3 Murmillo. This is actually the one that normally comes out off of Sarah because its effect is forced to happen whether or not your opponent has a spell or trap set. So it'll trigger the second part of Sarah when it comes out.
That's like the main starter, isn't it? Murmillo or...
Mantis is your main starter.
Ah, gotcha.
And I know a lot of people hate this card, but it has won me a few games so far, but I'm playing one of her. She comes up in some clutch situations and just kind of sets everything from your deck and graveyard, and just kind of gives you follow-up plays, especially with the new Traptrix, sending one of your set ones to the grave. I'm playing 2 Parallel Exceed. You don't always need it when you're opening up, but having one makes it to where you're not drawing the third later on in the game and getting set in a situation where
like
you don't.
Could get clogged, you know?
It does. And then I'm only playing 3 hand traps. I'm just playing 3 ash.
Probably the best hand trap to play if you're playing any, you know?
For spells, I run 4. I run 3 Pot of Prosperity and 1 Double or Nothing.
Double or Nothing, does that come up a lot?
I have won more games than I would like to admit off of that card.
I feel like it probably would come up. People don't expect it.
You can get a 10k Utopia on the table.
Pretty good.
And then for my trap holes, I'm running 3 Gravediggers, 1 Floodgate, 1 Time Space, and 1 Trap Hole Nightmare.
Nice. That Time Space one seems really cool.
It used to be a lot better than it is now, to be very honest. So back in the day, it used to hit pendulums. When they would bring in 5 at a time, you'd pay 5k, put everything back in the deck.
That's a blowout.
Which doesn't sound amazing, but when you put 5 pendulums back in the deck, it's kind of a setter. Then I'm playing 1 Imperial Order, 3 Dragoon, 3 Dragon's Prison, or Ice Prison.
Man, you said F Dragoon, man.
3 Strike, 3 Torrent, and 3 Shade Brigading. Because on turn 1, after you establish Sarah, you can activate Shade Brigading from your hand, go search Murmillo, get another effect off, set a trap, and go into Rafflesia, just using this card.
I feel like that just synergizes so well with Sarah. That's insane. I wonder how like PKs would do in this.
I don't know. I haven't tested it. Well, the next one I want to test is the Amazement version.
Oh, seems really fun.
For the extra deck, I'm running 2 Sarah. I want to bump this to 3, but at the moment I just haven't gotten the 3rd. And until I do, I'm playing 3 of the new Link. Her effect is actually really, really good. When you use a trap hole, you just reset it. It never actually goes to the grave. And at the end of your turn, you can special summon a Traptrix in defense position.
Interesting.
2 Nightmares.
That's a very helpful support.
Absolutely. I'm playing these 2 Nightmares. They're more or less just fodder for Pot of Prosperity. 1 Rafflesia.
And it's salty.
1 Allure Morris. The Utopia package. Drill Driver. This comes up a lot more than you would expect. If you shut down a lot of bigger plays, a lot of combo decks will just end up putting a monster in defense position and saying go. And this lets you push through that.
Little do they know.
I've actually even had games where I've got Utopia on the table, attempt to attack, negate the effect, and then double or nothing to make it 5K'd with piercing.
What?
Which is actually pretty nice.
That interaction is really cool.
Abyss Dweller, Time Thief Redoer, and Zeus.
You do play Redoer.
Yeah.
Dude, I run into that time to time, and it seems like a fun card.
So with using Shade Brigadine,
Do you make Redoer a lot?
actually it comes up a lot more than I would like to admit. I put it in just kind of for a filler, but with using Shade Brigadine, you have access to the monster effect and you have access to the trap effect, and that's assuming you don't hit anything other than trap or monster off your opponent's deck on their turn.
That's interesting. Stealing your cards is fun too.
Right. And then for the sideboard, I'm playing Red Reboot, 2 Anti-Spell Fragrance,
That's a blowout card.
2 Lost Wind. I sided this in every game tonight. I'm actually thinking that it should go main board and I just have to find room for it. But it negates your opponent's monster's effect and halves their attack. So you can actually activate this in the damage step to make your own stuff bigger. I also had one game where my opponent had a monster on field that would have been big enough to not die to double or nothing. Flip this up in the damage step, have their attack, and then put them down to lethal.
Yeah, it seems like it would synergize with Sarah quite well. Just trap cards in general, you know.
So Sarah can only activate off of it has to be a normal trap.
Right.
So things like Anti-Spell and Red Reboot don't trigger Sarah.
That's unfortunate. I mean, it's still, you have plenty of targets for it.
Absolutely. It's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
2 Wind Kaiju.
Out that statue.
Absolutely. 2 Nib. 2 Lancia are my effective hand traps. And then, just because of space, I only played 1 Twin Twister, but I played 1 Harpy's Feather Duster and 2 Dark Ruler No More. Because the decks that tell you to break their board are generally rather terrifying, but they don't have backup. So if you Dark Ruler No More and go into some of your bigger extra deck monsters, or go into your positions to where you can kill the extra deck monster without having to deal with the effects, then this gets you out of those really bad games.
Your sideboard seems really balanced.
I try to make it primarily synergized to whatever I'm playing, but these have made their way into every extra deck or every sideboard so far.
I like your theory behind your choices. It's solid. But is there anything you would change about it other than the third Sarah? Or Sarah?
I'd find room for Lost Wind in the main board, and I realistically would look at potentially changing the Traptrix count itself.
Yes.
The problem is you always want to open 1 Traptrix and just the rest is one of the 4 spells and traps. So if you open up hypothetically 4 traps and 1 Traptrix monster, you're in a position where you're probably going to win the game if your opponent can't manage that outright.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Pretty solid.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, it's definitely thanks for the profile. The deck seems really, really fun to play. I might try it out myself.
Absolutely.
Thanks for sharing. Any last words?
No, just subscribe to the channel.
Hey, thanks, brother. Hey, appreciate it.